Welcome back, everybody, to an Invasive Brews Quick Facts episode. And in this episode, we're going to go over a very popular pop culture species.
And I thought insurance salesmen were pushy.
That's right, we're going over the popular pet, the red-eared slider. And while we do so, I'm going to be enjoying an Alaskan Amber Ale from Alaskan Brewing Company, which is probably one of my favorite beers. They originate from Juneau, Alaska, so kind of might be nostalgic for me since this is the main beer I drank when I worked up in Yellowstone National Park. But let's get into it. Red-eared sliders are native to North America. They're native to the Mississippi waterways of the southeast and the Midwestern United States. They prefer quiet, freshwater ecosystems like lakes, ponds, and slow-moving rivers and streams, but these turtles are very highly adaptable and can easily make a home in river systems, urban ponds, and even brackish waters. This adaptability is one of the contributions to their invasiveness. These turtles have been taken from their native range and even farmed for the exotic pet trade since the early 1900s. Then, in the 80s and 90s, the popular TV series and movies Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
And I, like many other kids at the time, wanted one of these little guys for a pet. And in the years of 1989 to 97, 52 million red-eared sliders were exported from the United States across the world. Once they outgrew their enclosure, or even their owner's attention span, a large number of these turtles found themselves released into the wild. When people release their pets into the wild, they tend to think it's doing the animal a favor, but in reality, it's not. These turtles have established populations on every continent of the planet except Antarctica. Here in the United States, they are an example of a native species becoming invasive, because when you take them from the southeast and take them to the Pacific Northwest, and they can establish those populations. Naturally, they couldn't cross those barriers like those river systems, the prairies, the mountain ranges to get there. So we had a helping hand in that invasion. Once these cute aquarium creatures find themselves in a natural ecosystem, they can easily and rapidly take over that new environment. Red-eared sliders compete with native species of turtles for food, resources, and basking spots. Turtles, just like other reptiles, need to bask in the sun in order to regulate their body temperature and their other homeostatic regulations. Red-eared sliders can typically be larger than native turtles, and they are more aggressive. When they take these basking spots, it decreases native turtles' growth and can lead to higher mortality rates. Besides outcompeting and taking resources from native species, these turtles can also carry diseases to other turtles and even us. They can carry ranavirus, and they can pass the bacteria of salmonella. When animals are raised in captivity, they might be exposed to diseases and viruses and bacteria that wild populations aren't. And when they are released, they expose the wild populations to these new pathogens, and, well, you all know about yellow fever. So I mentioned before that they outcompete native turtles for resources. But what exactly are these resources? Well, right from the get-go after they hatch, these turtles are omnivorous, eating aquatic plants like algae, duckweed, water lilies, and hyacinth, as well as aquatic insects, fish, tadpoles, frogs, and decaying matter like large dead fish. All resources that other turtles and a lot of other species need. With red-eared sliders, it's like a lot of native species of turtles. Courtship begins in the spring and with nesting shortly after. Unlike amphibians, reptiles need to lay their eggs on land, and female red-eared sliders can have up to 5 clutches a year, each containing anywhere from 4 to 30 eggs. After anywhere from 55 to 80 days later, the cute little babies are born. And just like the American alligator and the alligator snapping turtle, the sex of the babies is determined by the incubation temperature. Higher temperatures, around 31 degrees Celsius, the eggs will all be female. Lower temperatures, around 26 degrees Celsius, will all become male. If you ever do get one of these turtles for a pet, or you have a neighbor or a friend that does, never release it into the wild. Instead, ask a local pet store or zoo first. Or find an exotic animal rescue like J&R Aquatic Animal Rescue or other rehab centers. They will try to find your pet a new home. And if they can't, they'll at least take care of it and won't release it. But under no circumstance should you ever release your pet into the wild. No matter what the species is, it's most likely not going to make it. It's used to the captive life, it's been fed all its life, it's been living in a cush aquarium or in your house, and now it's got predators to deal with, it's got to find its own food, so it's not going to make it. But on the chance that it does make it and contributes to a new breeding population, you not only have endangered your pet, but you've endangered our native ecosystems. Well, I hope you learned something new about these pets gone pests, or 80s to 90s pop culture craze where every kid was using a broomstick as a weapon and, fighting his little nephew or brothers. We're not going to talk about that. But if you did, I would really appreciate a thumbs up or a subscribe if you haven't, especially if you would like to learn more about invasive ecology and new breweries around the country. But until next time, drink local and plant native.